Welcome to today's tutorial. In this video, we are going to look at critical thinking skill. How to teach children the ability to think. Critical thinking is a very critical skill every child should possess. It is very important because it helps them to take informed decisions, solve problems. It also helps them to evaluate the information they encountered on daily basis. This is a skill parents must teach their children. Critical thinking is not an innate ability. It's not an inherent skill that a child is born with. It is a skill that is learned and nurtured. The purpose of this video is to educate our parents and our teachers, our educators, on how to teach children critical thinking skill. So we are going to look at 6 steps you are going to consider when teaching your children critical thinking skill. Number 1, encourage curiosity. Children are naturally curious. They ask a lot of questions. Because they have plasticity of brain, they are open to learning. They ask a lot of questions. But most parents will always want to kill the curiosity in their children. No, you don't do that. Rather, you encourage the curiosity. Parents and teachers should encourage curiosity in our children by exposing them to different opportunities, to new experiences, and encourage them to explore it and ask questions. Always encourage your children to ask questions. You can encourage curiosity in your children by taking them to nature walks, visit places like museums, buy them educational books, educational videos, and engage them in hand-on activities. Always encourage your children to ask questions. You can occasionally provide a challenging task for them without telling them what to do. Let them explore it, navigate on it, ask questions, and take their decisions. Doing this will help them to begin to make use of their critical thinking ability. Every child is born with the ability to think, the ability to reason. What every child needs is a little push for them to begin to use that ability, for them to begin to think critically. Step 2, ask open-ended questions. Open-ended questions are questions that require more than a simple yes or no. This kind of questions helps the child to think critically and to express themselves. By asking open-ended questions, you are encouraging the child to develop analytical and communication skills. Examples of open-ended questions include bringing up an issue and asking a child, "What do you think about this?" What will happen if then the child will be able to think and reason and now answer, "If, what will happen if I didn't come to pick you from school?" The child will be able to think, to know what to answer. What you are trying to develop is critical thinking skill. Another example is bringing a challenge before them and ask, "How would you solve this problem?" This question will ignite the thinking ability of the child. The child will begin to think and will give you his opinions. Step 3, challenge assumptions. Children often make assumptions based on what they see and what they hear. Challenging these assumptions means helping children to think critically about their beliefs and opinions. You don't just allow a child to live on assumptions based on his opinion and beliefs. Teach them how to think critically around their beliefs, around people's opinion. Ask them questions that will make them to think beyond their assumptions. Questions like, how do you know that's true? What evidence supports your belief? And what other explanations are there? Step 4. Use puzzles and games. Games and puzzles are very powerful tools in developing critical thinking skills in children. Games like chess, checkers, cards require children to think strategically and take decisions by the information available. As parents, endeavor to make available these critical thinking equipment tools for your children. Puzzles like jigsaw puzzles, Sudoku, and crossword puzzles require children to use logic and problem-solving skill to find solutions. Ensure to encourage your children to play these games. It will help them to develop strategical thinking ability. It will teach them to think strategically and logically. Step 5. Teaching decision making. Decision making is an important skill that requires critical thinking. Children need to learn how to weigh options, consider consequences, and make an informed decisions. As parents or educators, endeavor to provide opportunities for children to make choices and decisions. Choices like the activities they want to participate in, the communities of extracurriculum they want to join, what to eat, what to wear. You don't always make choices for them. You don't just make choices all the time for them. Sometimes allow them to make choices. A child comes back from school. It's expected that he undress himself, shower, and now put on staying at home dress. So they should be able to go to the wardrobe and pick up something to put on, and not depending on you for everything, for all decisions. Doing this will also help the child to know outgoing clothes, staying at home clothes, social activity clothes. It is not only teaching them to make decisions, to make choices, also teach them to consider the pros and cons of each option before taking the decision. This will encourage them to make the best decision out of the option. Step 6, which is the last, teach them to evaluate sources of information. In today's digital age, it is very important to teach children how to evaluate sources of information critically. They need to be taught how to distinguish between credible and unreliable sources of information. As parents or educators, go ahead and teach your children how to evaluate sources of information by discussing the credibility of the different sources. Critical thinking is a skill every child should be taught, every child should learn, every child should possess, and every child should nurture. Using these techniques shared in this video will help you to encourage your children to begin to think logically, strategically, critically. By encouraging their curiosity, asking them open-minded questions, challenging their assumptions, using games and puzzles, teaching them decision-making skills, and teaching them to evaluate sources of information, you would have positioned your child to begin to develop critical thinking skill. This critical thinking skill will help a child to solve problems strategically and also make informed decisions. Please do well to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching my video. God bless you.